Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Rewind with Ro. I'm your host, Ro Carter, and my amazing co-host, Rob Smith. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Ro.
Awesome.
Great.
I don't know what episode this is. No.
I think
We're working on it. We're getting episodes back. We're building. Anyway, how was your week?
It was productive. You know,
What does productive mean for Rob?
Productive for me means I have been meeting as many casting directors as I possibly can. Because you know, acting is still what I'm out here. I'm on the grind now.
You didn't let it go. You didn't let it go. You're sticking with it.
Never letting it go. No. And I'm back from shingles. I'm fully back. I still have a few scars on my face, but it's okay. They're lightening up for sure. But I've been just like meeting all these cast directors, doing workshops with them, and really trying to put myself back out there, back in acting class. So life is good.
Okay, there you go.
How about you, Ro?
I had my 30-year high school reunion.
How was that?
That was interesting. Caught up with some friends. The ladies embraced their gray, which is very interesting. It was lovely to see. Everybody had a good vibe. There was one person, I won't mention his name, but he was talking to me, and I was like, yeah, you know, and he was like a nerdy kid, like scrawny. And I never messed with him, like, you know, just like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Stuff like that. And so to see him now, and I was like, hey, what are you doing now? He's like, well, I'm teaching jujitsu and other stuff. I'm like, really? And I go to different places, and he's like, but don't test me, bro.
He let the bullying culture turn.
Who says that? I'm like, so that means someone had to mess with him at one point, right? And he was like, listen, I don't want to do it. Listen, bro, don't test me. Because they don't believe him. Like, and I'm like, I'm not here to mess with you, Pat. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, just have a good day. But I was crying laughing about that.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, I learned a lot. Go to your reunion. Don't be afraid to talk to people you didn't talk to when you were in high school before. Give yourself an exit plan and strategy, because you can get caught in a conversation and you're just stuck there. So make sure someone gets you within, you know, hey, if I'm still like this 5 minutes, come get me. But other than that, it was a good time. I got to see my mom. I was on Staten Island for a little bit. So now I'm back in Miami. The weather's great. I got a tan now. I'm all uneven and stuff, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it in post. Anyway, we are doing the movie You, Me, and Tuscany. Oh man, this movie. Woo. So we were getting into rom-coms, and we did one last week, so we're doing another one this week because it just dropped. And I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. It's directed by Kat Coiro, Coiro, sorry, and writer Ryan Engel. Also produced by Will Packer, starring Halle Bailey and Regé-Jean Page. Regé-Jean, how do you pronounce his name?
Regé-Jean Page.
Regé-Jean Page. Yep. Never got it when he was on Bridgerton. Couldn't get it there. So and for the ladies out there, if you were a fan of Bridgerton, you get to see his brother in another movie. He still looked fine. He looked good. Had the shirt up for a little bit. There's a scene. I'm like, it's unnecessary, but you know, they put it out there. So this is also, like I said, produced by Will Packer. Will Packer did Girls Trip, Think Like a Man, all those great films. And so I was expecting a little more funny, but it was let's just get into it. Anyway, this movie stars Anna, played by Halle Bailey, a young woman who has abandoned her dreams of becoming a chef. She finds herself drifting through her 20s until a chance encounter leads her to impulsively jet off to Tuscany. What starts as one little life in a beautiful Italian villa quickly spirals into unexpected romance and a journey of self-discovery. This movie, I love that it took place in New York, and then we get shipped away to Italy, to Tuscany, on this wild trip. When I went into this movie, I did not like it at first because she was crazy. She was crazy. Listen, if you did this in real life, you would be arrested and you crazy. Rob, am I wrong?
I mean, but that's the
Rob, just answer the question and we can go to the movie. Just Rob, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But that's the fun of entertainment. That's the fun of movies.
So I went into this film and I was like, what are we doing?
Oh,
and just a note for black sisters out there, you can't do what this girl did in this film. Don't do. You will get arrested. Do not do what this girl did in this film. But anyway, it's a fun ride. You get a trip to Italy. What did you think going into this ride?
So again, like I always do, I tried not to familiarize myself too much with like the plot or what was happening in the film. I wanted it to be a complete surprise, which it was.
It was.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think Halle Bailey was perfectly cast in this because she's so like innocent and sweet and pure, and I think that was the perfect kind of personality for the character from like the inception of where we meet her to the development of where she goes. So I think she was perfectly cast. I think Regé-Jean having his shirt off was justified. It made sense in the moment. So yes, we'll get there when we get there.
Okay,
it's going to be part of the conversation because it added a layer of Blackness to the film that I thought was funny and that was like really needed because the characters were Black. So the reason he took off his shirt was because her hair was getting wet and she was like, oh my God, I'm going to mess up my edges. So he took off his shirt to cover her head while they were running through the sprinklers. So it made sense because again, this was like supposed to be cute and, you know, romantic. And I thought that was like a very Black reason to take off your shirt. So I loved it. I love that they brought in, you know, little elements of culture to really make you feel like you were with these two Black characters running through Italy. So I loved it.
Okay.
Anything to say about that, Ro?
I have a lot to say about that, but I digress. I'll get into it a little later. So the casting, you're all on board for the casting, both Italian characters and both Regé-Jean and Halle.
Yes, and I think, you know, because he has a British accent, they actually justified it really quickly, so we didn't ask any more questions, and I thought that was perfect.
Like, yeah, I was like, you're Black, you're speaking Italian, and now you're a British accent. What is going on here?
They justified it very quickly that his mom had moved to the UK and fell in love with his father, who was a chef, and then they moved back to Italy and they passed away, and he ended up being raised by his Italian family, by his mom's parents. So I think they justified it really quickly. They didn't need to give us a ton of backstory as to why he had a British accent, but it made sense.
Okay, all right. They did it. So that's my only gripe on some things. It's like I didn't really get to understand the background. So for instance, Anna's character, she went to culinary school. Her mom got sick, and then she gave up her dream, right? My mom passed away, and she's like, every time I'm in a kitchen, I feel my mom, and I just can't do it. I can't cook. And so, but then later on, she winds up cooking like a soul meal that her mom would make. And I was like, I needed to learn a little bit more about her background, about cooking, you know, the passion of that. It was like 2 seconds. Like, here's a sentence, here you go. I felt they could have been a little more in depth with that character and why she fell in love with food.
I think you fell asleep during the movie like I did. Okay, so the first night
you fell asleep too?
Well, no, this is my thing. I can't go to the movies at night, and I just discovered this because I like to have a glass of champagne, and then I had a glass of champagne, and then I went into the movie, and I fell asleep before it started, and then I woke up, and it was ending, and I was like, well, now I got to go back in the morning tomorrow. So I did just that. So I cannot go to the movies at night. I figured that out unless I don't have a glass of champagne because I'm getting to a certain age, and those reclining chairs.
Rob's having his reunion next week.
Listen. You cannot recline in a chair and watch a movie.
Oh no, you can't recline on anything and watch.
Fall asleep. So I had to go back again. So I'm saying maybe you fell asleep because they actually did a very good job of weaving that conversation through the entire movie. That's the reason she had the ticket to Italy because her and her mom were going to do.
Yeah, Rich, I got. But
and then they talk about it's weaved through the whole movie very subtly when she first.
That's my point. It's very subtle. When like she just picks everything up and just goes.
No.
It's like, you're in New York for a very brief, short period of time, and for her to just go to Tuscany, the rest of the movie's in Tuscany. New York is like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but we see her relationship with food from the beginning. She goes to the friend who works at the hotel. She goes to the bar, and she has a very specific way she orders her food, and that's.
I was gonna order honey and fries today. I'm gonna
try it. I'm gonna try it. So she orders her food a very specific way because she has a palate for culinary in a different way than people do. Then when she goes to Italy, the first thing she does is stop at the little shop to buy a sandwich, and that's how she meets Regé-Jean's character because they run into each other and he takes the sandwich. And then so they subtly introduce food in a very she goes to the farmer's market. We see her experiencing food at the farmer's market. Then she goes home and she makes dinner for herself because she doesn't want to do it in the kitchen in front of his family. So they really do interplay food throughout the movie so that you see her relationship to it. She loves food, but she just has an aversion to cooking because it brings back memories of her mother, which is too hard for her to deal with. So I think they did a very, very good job of weaving the culinary experience into why Anna was having such a hard time getting back into the world of food, but she also still had a love and respect for it.
Okay, all right. What did you think about her girlfriend?
She was the comic relief that you were saying.
Yes.
Felt like was missing. I love being in a theater environment because you get to feel the energy of the room. And anytime the best friend was on screen or on the phone, the room was like gut-wrenching laughing on the floor. So I think maybe I had a different experience than you because that was kind of infectious. Her character, she very much reminds me of like how he introduced everybody to Tiffany Haddish in Girls Trip. And then Tiffany Haddish kind of took off and blew up from that experience. She, to me, was that character in this film because she was like really elevated humor from everybody else on screen. So her humor was really elevated from any.
You remind me of what's the name in Get Out?
Who?
The comedian.
Yeah.
Rel. Yeah, Rel. I was like, oh, very similar because you didn't know what she was getting into. It's like, wait, you gonna pick everything up and just go out to Tuscany? I was like, that's crazy. I was like, and I'm like, girl, that is crazy. You don't know what's gonna happen. And then you're gonna go stay at a house, you don't know what's going on. So also be prepared when you go to another country. Know what's going on, know what time of year it is. If there's gonna be a place you can stay, like have that ready. Don't just go on a wisp. This movie's crazy. Do you feel so? Talking to some of my Italian friends, some of the stuff was very forced. I thought the Italy, like Tuscany, kind of like it felt more of a movie set to me. If I could have one gripe against it, versus it feeling like I was in Italy. Does that make sense?
No, so you have to explain that more because I didn't feel that way, Rose. So I don't know.
What were you watching? Did you?
Yes, I watched it.
I felt like they were in Napa Valley when they were in the vineyard.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a set in Napa Valley, and they panned out, and you saw all of Tuscany, right? And then when they zoomed in, it was like, okay, now act. And it was, I felt just very put together. Even the market, like it didn't have a real authentic vibe to me. I don't know.
Okay, it's a rom-com, so that's the rom-com experience. When I'm watching a rom-com, I'm not looking for it to be like documentary style, so like realism. It is supposed to be like even the scoring of the film. I thought about that while I was watching.
Oh, the music, by the way, the soundtrack is amazing.
The soundtrack is amazing, and the scoring, like the music in between.
Yeah, coming through.
It was very, very like it was lighthearted. It was whimsical. It really pulled you into the story.
It woke me up.
Yeah, it made you feel like you were journeying through Italy with this young girl who was crazy. She was crazy. I mean, you're right. Like you wouldn't fly to. And some people have. I don't. I prefer to like be very specific with my travel. I like to know where I'm going to lay my head, when I'm going to get there, and then I like to have fun in between. But again, she was but it was justified for her character. This is a girl who was wearing somebody else's lingerie at the open because she's just a spur of the moment kind of crazy person. But she's like this put together girl who is like after the death of her mother, she's kind of just all over the place. She's unstable. Her living environment is unstable. She doesn't have any money, but she has memories, her love for food, and this ticket to Italy. That's all she has. So it made sense.
Well, the one thing about her character, so Matteo is the brother to Regé-Jean's character in the movie. And so he later comes to Italy, and their whole relationship has changed. So the good thing that Anna's character has done is it brought the family together. So she's kind of holding a secret back that she can't tell. And Matteo's like, hey, let's just keep it as is because the family's happy, right? And I had to leave because he was forced into something. So there's a lot of underlining stories. Regé-Jean's character lost his parents. Played Michael. Michael lost his parents. Anna lost her parents. And then also Matteo had to leave Italy, right? Because he didn't want to be forced into this job. And so I kind of when I dug deep into the underlining storylines in the movie, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people, you know, in the world that are going through these things. Like they gave up their love of their life because something happened tragic. And so how do you kind of work through that? And I kind of love that they spoke about that and they talked it out. There's a scene with Michael and Anna, and they talk about, hey, their loss and what it meant to them and why they did those things. And I think a lot of times we either can't find somebody to listen, let alone to hear, or even feel comfortable to express our feelings. And it was Black folks too, which is great, right? So you're seeing two Black folks on screen express how they are. And normally, like, that was a running joke back in the 90s that we don't do therapy, you know? So I love that that was like a therapeutic moment on screen, that you got to see them talk about their feelings and emotions and what it did to them and why they can't overcome them. What do you think about that?
I loved it. And again, that's another part that I was going to say, really, it solidified why the characters had the perspectives they did for me. And it made sense that they found each other, even though it was like the typical rom-com like journey of like, she can't talk to him really because everyone thinks she's engaged to his brother.
Yeah.
They're falling in love with each other because they were falling in love with each other because they had shared experience. And those experiences were centered in the fact that they both had experienced great loss and they had opposite responses to loss. They talk about that too, right? He ran further into work. So he became the darling of his family because he ran into like the vineyard and he became the person who held the vineyard together, whereas she ran away from food because it was too painful for her. But they bonded over that experience, and that's what kind of made them fall in love, like helped them fall in love with each other, other than them being two beautiful Black people in Italy. So but yeah, that personal experience of loss was what kind of brought them together, and them vocalizing it and sharing those experiences kind of solidified that bond. So I loved it. I thought it was great.
I also love that how warm the family was when they found out who she was and all that stuff too. You know, scary world we live in right now, and so I kind of love the race relationships. You know, they welcomed her in with open arms and just like, this is what's going on. This is what happens this time of year, and expressing their family and really understanding. And the dads are normally the stubborn guy in the family. He's like, no, let her in the kitchen and let her cook with us. I'm like, we want to get an idea of what she can do and kind of go from there. So that was a beautiful scene. That was when Italy kind of opened up a little bit more. Like they were expressing a little bit more and stuff like that. What else? What comic relief moments did you like, or what? You said there were other funny moments that you liked in the movie. What was that for you?
Yeah, I think her friend Claire was the comic relief in the film. I think she was perfectly intertwined at moments that were necessary. Most of the humor with her friend Claire, who's played by Aziza Scott, she was, you know, we saw her in person a lot at the beginning while she was in New York, but she became her extension of comfort while she was experiencing whatever trauma was going on with her trip. Like, I don't have anywhere to stay. I think I'm in love with the brother, but everyone thinks that I'm engaged to the son. So it's like she would call Claire, and the comic release now came through like the phone or through voice messages that they were leaving for each other. So I thought it was fun. Like any interaction she had with Claire was perfect, and it was like timed perfectly so that we didn't fall too deep into like, oh, like the sadness of the experience she was having there. So I thought it was perfectly balanced. I love the way this film was written. It was done perfectly, in my opinion, for a rom-com.
So now we're going through the movie. Mateo's there now, and you kind of see she's starting to fall in love with Michael, and you're like, wow, how's this going to play out now, right? What's going to go on with this? How do you think the movie handled that?
I thought it was
it messy, or was it like a smooth transition where you're like, okay, this makes sense, or was it like, oh, they cut it up, you know how movies do, and just put it together, like,
No, I thought it was done very well because we met the person who I guess could be considered the villain. The couple that can be considered the villain. We met her early on, and I knew she was going to be the catalyst to kind of blow everything up, and that was his ex-fiance, Mateo's ex-fiance, when Anna meets her in town and she sees the ring on her finger and she recognized the ring because it was the ring she had when she was engaged to Mateo. I knew she was going to be the one who kind of blew up the spot for Anna. So I was just waiting for that to happen, and it happened timely. Like it was timed perfectly. at the peak of us like excited for what was going on for Anna, because like you said, she gets invited to the kitchen. She puts a spin because the father gets injured, but she puts a spin on the dish, and she cooks a dish that has a little bit more soul because it's inspired by her mother's favorite dish that she used to make. And then Michael, played by Regé-Jean, ends up seeing Mateo and now knows that something is awry, and that's what kind of blows up the whole situation because he sees Mateo off with another woman. So I thought it was timed perfectly. So it worked out great because we saw the tension between Michael and Anna through the whole film. So we're riding the wave of this like budding romance that can't be because she's in another relationship. Not really. But she has to keep up the facade because she's broke into his house and she got caught sleeping.
Yeah, let's rewind to that. Like, so if you break into somebody's house, you stay with them. Are you going through the stuff and putting the ring on? Like, that's not crazy, bro.
But again, this is they justify this in the writing. Remember,
the ring? Put a ring on the finger?
He was wearing someone else's panties in the beginning of the film because she goes through people's things. She lives the life of whatever person is there. So she goes through their things so she can imagine herself living that person's life.
You're saying that scene opened up that scene later for her to be able to do that?
Absolutely. She was wearing in the opening of the film, she's wearing her lingerie, her dress, her high heels, and walking around with her dog like it's her dog. So she puts on the facade of whoever she's house sitting for, and then she lives their life, which means she's going to wear their jewelry. She's going to wear their clothes. That is just what she does. So she plays make-believe. She plays dress up in other people's lives. The only thing in Mateo's house was his clothes. So she goes through his stuff. She finds the ring. She puts it on, and then she's wearing his pajamas at night, but she can't wear his clothes during the day. So it made sense.
She crazy. Like, certifiably crazy. Crazy. The ending of the film. What did you think about that in terms of bringing it all together? I kind of know, like in my head, I'm like, oh God, they're gonna bring it all back together. Here we go. But did they piece it in a way that made sense and like it was enjoyable, or did you feel the ending was kind of forced?
No, I loved it. And again, I think they did such a great job of introducing all of these additional players in the film. So all of Mateo's family, they were all these very specific characters. So we got to know their personalities individually, right? The Nona was a very like hard shell to break. She didn't believe anything from the beginning. His mother was super excited and happy because she just wanted to plan something that was going to bring the family back together. The father was happy because he found someone who could help him in the restaurant and kind of keep the kitchen going. And he now felt like he could possibly retire because now Mateo's fiance could probably take over. So he has that in his head. And then the brother is just happy because he met an American who he can use on his social media. And the sister feels like she has a sister who she can confide in. Now she's like her best friend. So everyone, and the two little girls, of course, they were like, oh my God, you're a princess. Because in real life, they're probably like, it's Ariel. So, so they were just like, oh my God, she's a princess. So the whole family fell in love with her. So it made sense that the family was like, okay, maybe you're not going to be with him, but you'll be with our other son. And we're still happy.
Well, and I think what helped is that the dad was talking to Michael and being like, hey, you know what? I can tell she really cares about you. And he was cool with that.
No, he said it doesn't matter because she's in love with Mateo. And he said, is she?
Yeah, that's what, you know.
Well, I just wanted
that said it all when he said, is she? He's like, I don't know.
No, I loved it. Yeah, it justified it to me. And then, to the point you made earlier, I really enjoyed the fact that it didn't feel forced. It felt like they maintained their blackness in this environment that was not inherently black. So everyone's experience around them was still like realistic. And the family, I don't know how realistic that is. The family, they were just more like, oh, she's American. It never bothered them or it was an issue that she was black. I've been in Italy. I doubt that would happen. But it was never an issue that she was black. But they also had a black son, like an adopted black son. So I guess it makes sense. But I love the fact that it felt like a world, like you said, considering everything we're dealing with now and like the trauma of what it is to be in America right now as a person of color. It kind of felt like an escape to see this world of people who were just existing and loving each other. And it was very interesting because in the movie theater, I was surprised to see it was a very, very mixed crowd. There were pockets of Black people, but there was a lot of white people, Hispanic people, Black people. Everyone was there to see this movie. And I think it didn't, to me, feel like a Black movie experience from the viewer perspective. People were just like, oh, I want to go see this movie that has these people in it, and it's about two people falling in love in Italy. And I was like, that's interesting that the world is kind of viewing it that way. Because again, the theater was very, very mixed. I am in LA, but
yeah, my theater wasn't mixed at all. There was nobody. There was two people in my theater.
It was an empty theater?
Yeah, three. It's like three. You know, down here in Miami, so some of the Latin folks look white, and they're not white. And I'm like, oh shit, there's like lighter. I'm like, what the? So anyway, two Latin ladies, someone in the back. I was in the middle.
Well, see, that's still a pretty diverse crowd as opposed to just.
It was very diverse for the four of us. The experience. I did laugh out loud a couple of times. Oh, the other comic relief was the taxi guy.
Yes, he was so funny. Lorenzo.
Lorenzo was a good comic relief. The only thing I would say, which most of my Italian friends would say, bro, they're forcing these track suits on them and stuff like that. You know, like, what are we doing? That's not how they dress them in Italy. But
and also the tour bus. Both experiences with the tour bus. I love that they brought the tour bus, but anytime they were in the vineyard, they didn't realize or notice that there was a tour bus.
Yeah, going in the back of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun too.
You could stay for the end of the movie because there's some outtakes that are pretty funny at the end.
Yeah.
Did you stay for the end of that?
Where they did the tour bus outtakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't stay to the very end.
I watched those.
Yeah, the tour bus outtakes I saw, that was fun.
All right. So would you recommend this film?
100%. I think everyone should go see it. I think Will Packer did a phenomenal job with this one again. I think people are going to talk about this film for a while. I think people will love it when they go to see it. It really is lighthearted. It's fun. It makes you want to rush off to. It makes you want to have an Eat, Pray, Love experience. It is bringing back the energy of like beautiful rom-coms that make you want to fall in love. So I think everyone should go see it. If you're single, go see it. If you're in a relationship, go see it with your person. If you don't want to be in a relationship, go see it. It might spark your desire to be. So I think everybody should go see it. It's fun. It has great energy. And I thought it was beautifully done.
There you go.
What about you, bro?
It was good. It was cute. It's cute. You know? One of those things. I would see it again with a friend, of course. And it does make you want to travel, though. The first thing I thought, I was like, I can't wait to get the hell out of here. There's I gotta go somewhere. You know, just different culture, just different energy, and the food. Like that was one of the best parts of seeing all the different plates of food. Like, you know, you forget how I was in San Diego for a little bit, and in Carlsbad, and like we got some avocados, and I was raw dogging the avocados. You know, I didn't put any salt or pepper on. I was like, these are amazing. Like things you just forget, like certain areas in the world, you know, just like the food is amazing, and it reminds you of just like being healthy and being conscious and stuff like that. So Eat, Pray, Love, exactly.
So it's so interesting you say that, because when she was feeding the food to the father to give him a taste of it, I was like, damn, I really wish I could know what that tastes like.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. So you can have a sample. Here you go.
I was like, oh my God, I want to taste it.
Yeah, so that was great for me. So I'm gonna get some fries now and some honey, and then I'll pour it for next week.
Yeah, I'll report back too, because I'm gonna taste it as well. I'm gonna try it. We'll see.
There you go. So check it out. Again, it's called You, Me, and Tuscany. All right. Thank you, everybody. That's our show. Back next week?
Yeah.
I'm in San Diego, so we can go whatever time we want.
Okay. Make it work.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good afternoon.